used to be such a like a crybaby that I grew into this angry person because I was, like I
Yeah.
felt weaker. It made me
Mm.
feel weaker being a crybaby than being an angry person. Could have been dead. I could have been dead many times before that because I was shot, I was stabbed, I was jumped by many friends. I was in so many altercations that could have taken my life.
Welcome to the Rain from Within show. I'm Shane. There is a moment in life when you realize you're not who you thought you'd be by now. Today's guest is Efrain, but we call him Fry. He's a beast. And growing up, he always saw himself as strong, smart, and capable. But somewhere in his mid to late 20s, things started to shift. Direction fell unclear, inspiration faded, identity started evolving. Instead of staying stuck, he chose to lean into growth. We're going in depth on gang violence, escaping that negative environment, rediscovering yourself, committing to self care, pushing past your physical limits, and realizing that becoming who you're meant to be is a daily process. Awesome episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you're following, and drop your comment of the biggest takeaway that you got from Fry's episode. That said, let's get into it. Enjoy the show. Efrain, dude, thank you so much for coming on the pod. We got a lot to dive into. I want to start out first, just how you grew up. And yeah, so you said growing up, you always thought of yourself as strong and smart and capable. When did that identity start to shift?
When did it start shifting, like negatively or positively?
Maybe all the above. Yeah, let's start like when did it start going negatively?
Well, growing up in a neighborhood that was very small in a small town, a lot of drugs and crime, it's hard to stay positive in a city like that, especially a town. You can't even consider it a city.
Mm.
And there's so many little small towns around that are just surrounded, that are just basically the same. So I had a good thing. I had older brothers that always kept me out of trouble. They always
Yeah.
made sure that we had a curfew. That I made sure I had good grades. They made sure I was always a good man. Never
Mm.
staying, never joining gangs and stuff. And they were part of gangs themselves. Later on throughout the years, they weren't there anymore. And when they weren't there anymore, I started hanging out with the wrong crowd, hanging out with the wrong folks. And I got used to it ever since like that, since I was a young man, So like I would hang out with the jocks, and then I was cool with like the gangsters, the criminals, and all these people. I adapted and I fit in with practically anybody. I don't know why. I'm just really friendly. I'm really cool. I'm outgoing, and I've been like that since I was a youngster, man.
Mm.
And um, positively, I was always a jock, in basketball and sports and stuff like that. But I lived in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So, my friends understood me, both sides. Sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes I'd get bullied about how I am. And then where I was from, I'd get bullied for being Mexican also. There was a lot of racism.
Mm.
But I kept strong, I was, maybe there was times, where I felt very weak and vulnerable. Throughout the years, I just grew this anger inside of me. And I used to be such a like a crybaby that I grew into this angry person because I was, like I
Yeah.
felt weaker. It made me
Mm.
feel weaker being a crybaby than being an angry person.
I totally get that. I totally get that. Yeah. The sadness manifested into anger. And yeah, dude, that's totally acceptable. It's understandable. So, what happened in your mid to late 20s that made you feel like things changed?
Well, let's see. I had my first son at a young age, 1920.
Hmm.
So, like around 27, 28, 20. So 5, 6 years later, I had my other boy, my second boy. And me and the mother of my children, COVID hit around the time. So this was like about 26, 27, 28. We ended up splitting up, me and her.
Hmm.
And that took a big toll on me, man. I've been in so many situations, where I've lost friends, I've lost my own brother, I've lost close ones to me. But this was just, I've been in situations, where I've been homeless, I've lived without electricity, I lived without gas, water, so many things in life, man, but this was the toughest one out of all of them, It really put me in shambles and it really put me down. And right now I'm actually coming back from that, I'm
Mm,
still, I'm reinventing myself, I guess.
love that. So when did you guys split?
Let's say, so we split up about, let's see, 2021, 22.
Okay.
Then we split up for like about a year. We got back together, and
Mm,
then we split up again. So we've been split for about three and a half years now.
got
A
you.
good a good amount now. We're good. We're mutual. There's no problems between us. I see
Yeah.
my kids here and there. We're real. We go to the basketball games, the soccer games. Everything is perfect. But at first, I was having problems with her. We were always fighting.
Right.
I couldn't see my kids for 6 months.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, man. You're only
But
about a year older than me, right? Are you 27?
I'm 31.
You're 31. Why did I think you were okay, dude? You look youthful. I love it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's the long hair.
Yeah. Yeah. You look
Back then,
like
I had
yeah.
short hair, and it made me look older.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
like I changed my appearance. I changed the person who I was ever since I tried reinventing myself. Like I said,
Love that.
because the person that I was, that's the reason why I ended up going into my downfall, because I was a very judgmental person. I felt like I was better than other people because I had money, I would
Mm,
always argue and fight with my family members, my friends, especially the mother of my kids. She was with me all the time, so that really pushed her away from me. And
yeah.
just feeling like I'm better than everybody else, being so naive and just, yeah, man, it made me
Yeah.
leave my family. Went down the wrong road, almost lost my house, and yeah,
Holy crap.
man.
Here, we're gonna
I
dive into this
didn't
and
save my vehicles and anything.
dude.
Tried finding myself again. Here I am with you guys, man, with the strength group. It's a good example for me to be with a part of this group.
I really appreciate you being a part of it, bro. I want to dive into the downfall and also the come up in a sec, but I wanted to highlight something you mentioned, reinventing yourself. I think that's so sweet, and I'm all about that too. Did you ever grow up playing video games?
Yeah, big time. I've always been a
Yeah.
video game player, but I've been trying to disconnect myself from that because I have so much other things going on right now. And if I add anything like that right now, it's gonna send me back, hold me back. And I feel like that's partially one of the things that's always held me back from doing other things that I'm capable of doing in life.
A
Just a
vice,
waste
kind
of
of.
time, honestly. But soon I'll be getting to it when I have my free time because I do love it. I enjoy playing video games, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. I do too. But like you said, we got real life to take care of. I had to sell everything. You probably read about it in the book and such, but selling the PlayStation, all that. But now the life's video game. You see yourself as your own character. You get to customize it and such. And I do agree with you. There were certain seasons in my life where when I was in college, I had a huge ego. I talk about it in the book as well. But I had this big mullet, and it didn't help. And I love mullets. Don't get me wrong. I got a little mini mullet now, but no facial hair. Didn't take care of myself as well. I felt like that version of myself, the college, is a little degenerate, and I see it as like that look was like locked in for that period of my life versus now a little stash action. But like you said, with short hair, everybody looks so much older. Dude, I had this big beard and short hair when I was writing the book. Like my beard, it really came in, and I didn't really post any pictures of it. Hardly anybody knows what I look like with it, but I wasn't getting carded. I would go and get alcohol like a wine night, and at Walmart, they say you gotta be, I think they say you gotta look like you're at least 40 years old to not get ID'd. And I was getting ID'd. I was like, dang, they think I'm 40, bro? So that was a reality hit. I was like, yeah, we gotta reinvent ourselves. You and I both, I think we look young, which is good and vibrant. So I wanna dive into what you mentioned a little bit with the downfall of, you said, did you lose your house for a little bit?
I almost did.
What do you,
I
yeah,
lived
what
in it
caused
by
that?
myself after our separation for like a year. And it was harsh. It was harsh. I got into the drugs, I got into like alcohol and doing cocaine a lot,
Mm,
and and getting into fights, always out at the clubs, and I was getting into fights all the time, getting arrested. And I got arrested one time because I got into a fight with my neighbor, and the neighborhood that I lived in had evicted me. So I had to move my home, which was a mobile home. And I tried fighting the case for like a year, and I lost. I ended up losing. I had to move out, so I had to sell a house right away. I only had within a month, and I didn't have the time to move out. I didn't have the time, so I had to sell the house to somebody else, and then they would re-sign a contract with them for them to be able to stay there.
mm.
So I sold the house. I broke even. After that, I moved to another city down, which is Albuquerque, New Mexico. I lived over there for a bit, and the party kept on going.
Oh yeah.
This time there were people clubs.
Mm.
And I had a little bit of extra dough, left over from selling my house and, paying it off still, paying off everything. I broke off even. And I kept on partying, kept on partying, kept on partying. And I got connected with, I came back to work for Santa Fe in Santa Fe. I went to Espanola. One night, man, I hung out with some of my old friends from way back in the day. And this was where the heavy drugs came in, the crack cocaine. And
Mm.
we're like an idiot. There I go, man. Got addicted with them. Lasted for like about a year and a half, man, and a year actually, a year and a half probably. And so I got into a really big car accident. I broke my five toes, my two ribs, and my sternum. I
Wow.
was flown in a helicopter from Espanola, New Mexico to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was in really critical condition. It was the worst pain in my life, man. And ever since then, I've been clean cold turkey, man.
Holy
Clean cold
crap.
turkey. That experience changed my life, man. I could have been dead. I could have been dead many times before that because I was shot, I was stabbed, I was jumped by many friends. I was in so many altercations that could have taken my life. And I'm not proud of being like I recall and I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I went through all that stuff. But
That is
I'm glad I
incredible.
did. So
Yes, sir, dude, my guy. Okay, when did this happen? When did you have the helicopter ride? How many years ago was this?
this was actually a year, not even more than a year. It was about a year and 3 months ago. So it was
Wow.
6 days before my birthday, which was November 3rd, 2024.
Got you. Okay, so that's quite the mental shift and such. Have you, okay, I want to mention something. You mentioned that you've always been connected to God, but not yourself. What does that mean?
Always, man. I was always connected with God, or like what I meant is like if I was connected with God, I wasn't connected with myself,
Hmm.
and if I was connected with myself, I wasn't connected with God. I would leave something out. I felt like, um, and there was a time where I just completely left God out forever. There was a time where I completely left him out, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember God. I got God, and I wasn't really fully doing it
Hmm.
his way. I believed in him. I loved him. I thanked him for what he did for me. But I wasn't living in his form or in his way positively the way he would want, the way the
Hmm.
Bible says, the script says,
Yeah.
you know. I was still doing sinful things, the wrongs. And now I try not doing any of those wrongs at all, period. And people don't notice that. They could be worshiping God all the time and they'll still be the worst sinners that they know, and they'll be bashing other people all the time, and just stuff like that, simple stuff like that. You have no reason to be bashing people in the first place if you're a person of God.
Right. Yeah.
So
Totally. Totally.
there's just things that I'm still learning little by little. So I can't um, say that I'm completely a man of God, but I dedicate myself to Him more than what I kind of dedicate myself because he's actually I feel like he's the one that saved me myself because I myself was lost.
Hmm.
He get found, you
I
know?
love it.
So he's my superpower, man. He's my
Yeah,
extra strength.
I love it. And I always tell my friends, well, not always, but we have a saying that being sober is a superpower, right? You talked about you dealt with the addictions that many people I think that are listening to this will be able to resonate with. We've all dealt with different things, whether it's vaping or weed or alcohol, these different vices that really take control of your life. And before it's too late, it's a problem, right? And
Yes,
then
it
you
is.
have to take steps backwards and get yourself off of it. And it's part of life, man. We live in a world that it's not perfect. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. And so, with the situation that you went through with the very scary accident, I'm really glad you're okay and that you're here with us. So, when did you find strength? Like the brand.
So I was joining ambassador groups. There's a lot of groups that were messaging me about collaborating with them because of my photos and my videos. Um, I don't know what that word. What is it? Aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because my stuff is real aesthetic, and I got offered some things, and I replied to some of them, you know. And at the time, a little bit before, I had joined acting and modeling with John Casablancas at Model and Talent Management. So my algorithm on Instagram, all kinds of stuff was popping up, you know. Then strings pop up, and it said right there, man, I saw it. Book now, seen Scar, and there was a few people that I've talked to. You know, there's a lot of people I forget their names. There's BFit. There's a lot of Abico. There's a bunch of companies that I've almost collaborated with,
Mm.
but I didn't fully go through with them because, well, there was really no benefits from it besides you guys. You know, something that I actually liked and I was interested in. I read it, and then how there was this community with a bunch of other people. You know, I was like, you know what, this is something kind of out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
But I love exercise. I love working out. Maybe this will help me. You know, kind of like um, brainstorming and reconstructing myself in a way. You know,
That's
building
good.
structure for me again, and it's been going great, man. I love it. I love it. I love being with the group, man. Look at everybody. Yeah, everybody pushes each other. You know, we help each other, and I appreciate the love from everybody in the strength group, man. It's a new family to me. You know, like I said, I used to be part of games and everything. This is my new game, man.
Yeah,
You know,
I love that. And
so
dude, as a business owner, I'm always trying to put myself in the shoes of our clientele, people that like the mission, that join, and you just kind of help me realize, well, I've always realized this, but remember putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Like for you, like for me, I think, oh yeah, it's a sick community. Like it's a no brainer. Everybody that's listening should join if they're not already a part of it. But there's probably a part of you before you joined that was like, oh, it's kind of scary. It's out of my comfort zone. I got to meet all these brand new people. Like I don't know anybody a part of this, and I'm putting myself out there. I'm willing to share my story. Boom, you get plugged in. Before your ever first team meeting and such, it's probably a little nerve wracking for new people coming in. Was it nervous for you, or did you feel like it was right at home?
I think of it like the first day of school, man. I think of it like the first day of school,
That's awesome.
always. And I'm like, you know, I'm like, if I want to accomplish all these big things in life, I can't let little things like that get to me. You know, butterflies, bubble guts. To me, if anything about the butterflies, the bubble guts, that's a good feeling to me. You know, that means I'm gonna do a good job or something.
Mm,
If I don't have it, either way, you know, I just
yeah,
always stay confident. That's one thing, is never be scared. That's probably one of the things that made me a madman as I was growing up. And it was a good thing and a bad thing at the same time,
yeah,
you know?
I love that.
But never being afraid, just being confident, man. So I could represent myself the best way that I could, you know, just like right now for
Yeah,
this podcast, dude. I was kind of
crushing it.
nervous and I was like, damn, I'm late, this, that. I was like, my shirt, where's my shirt at? I need to just everything keeps on coming at me, but I block it, you know? It's
Yeah,
like, you know, I block it
exactly.
when the jab or the punch comes at me, just block it. With the hit, block it, man. That's all
Yeah.
we gotta do. Just fight back, fight back.
Dude, can you share with me a little behind the scenes, if you're willing to share, like, what was one of the scariest moments of the gang days, of like a fight or anything that you're willing to share?
Oh man, I could share a
Yeah.
million stories. But let's see, one of my favorites, or one of the scariest ones that, not one of my favorites, I say, one of the
Right.
most
Yeah.
traumatizing. Because to me, these experiences are traumatizing to me.
Yeah.
Ah, I look back at those times and they're hectic. But there's times where I was hurting somebody. Where, let's say this, okay, after my car accident, okay, I had my broken leg, my two fractured ribs in my sternum. After my car accident, I went back to Espanola for 1 month. Okay, my family was keeping me out
Mm.
for as best as they could. I went back because I had a court. Okay, I had to fix some courts, and I went. I never even went to the court, man, because I ended up getting stabbed by my own friends the night before.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was all for me. It was a altercation late at night, 2, 3 in the morning.
This is
We're at my
insane.
friend's house. Me and one guy were arguing, and we were arguing at another friend's house, and it was um, some stuff going on, and I was
Yeah.
telling him, hey, let's go, let's get out of here. And I guess we made too much noise. Um, they both started coming at me. I was telling off the other guy. I hit something happened where we kept on arguing too loud. The owner of the house came out, which is my other friend, and
Mm.
he told us both to shut up. And I told this guy to shut up, and he wouldn't shut up. So I don't remember if it was him that hit me or he hit me. And I was in the car. I had my broken leg. I had my crutches right next to me. You know what I'm saying? I had another buddy in the back seat.
Yeah.
And that buddy, he just got out for murder. He did like 23 years, and he just got out for murder. So he wasn't around. He wasn't supposed to be around any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Holy
yeah,
crap.
man. I started punching him through the window. They both came at me. They started punching me through the window. And I was punching him through the window. All of a sudden, Jordan, I'm not going to say their names, but
Yeah.
one guy pulls out a knife, the other guy pulls out a knife, and then they started shanking me, man. They just going through the window, and I wasn't scared. I just still kept on throwing punches, bomb, bomb, and they were landing on them. And my friend was the one that told me, he's like, drive, Fry, get out of here, bro. Let's go, let's go. You don't have nothing, bro. You're tripping. And I reversed, man, and I was driving out slowly. I wasn't scared, man. I guess I was just not afraid of death.
Holy
And
crap. This
I
is
was
so
doing, I
recent. This
was
was.
driving out until I noticed that I was gushing out so much blood. It was ridiculous. I drove home. My friend, good thing he lived right in the next neighborhood from me. I dropped him off right next door. I went home. My grandparents wrapped me up, and I didn't go to a hospital till the next day. So when I went to a hospital, they couldn't even stitch it up, man. So I just had to let it
Wow.
heal on its own.
Dude, that
But
is crazy. So I only asked you to share that because I want people to realize and see that your environment is so important, right? If you can control where you're at, because that's so recent. That was after the accident. That's crazy that you're
no,
still dealing
exactly
with these
a
kind of.
year and a month ago.
That's insane. So, can you like? I'm pretty sure I got your story figured out, but that happened in, you said, Espanola,
Espanola, New Mexico,
and where
the
are you at?
lowest city of the United States.
And where are you at now these days?
I'm in Santa Fe.
Okay, so
Yeah.
completely different vibe. All right.
Yes, I call it the Tri-City. Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and Espanola. They're three crazy towns, man, full of crime. And, Santa Fe is the capital of New Mexico. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be a tourist city. It's still a beautiful city. It's the most calmest one out of all of them to me. It's not too big. It's not too crazy. But there's still a lot of crime and drugs going on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like that everywhere. A lot of
Well,
places.
yeah. Well, my goal is with you being a part of Strength and continuously on your identity shift evolution arc, that you never have to go through something like that again where you're just nick in danger And so many different moments, man. It's incredible. It's like it's a completely different lifestyle that I've ever been accustomed to growing up in Wisconsin, small town. But hearing these stories, it's so foreign to me. But it's real. It's a reality for many people. So I think it's really powerful that you've been willing to share so much already, Fry. Just so you guys know, we call him Fry, Efrain.
Fry, yes,
Yeah.
sir, Fry.
So why do they call you Fry? Just because it's with your name? It just sounds good, Efrain.
I have an uncle that his name was Efrain, and he passed away around 18 years old. He was a young man. And when I was born, the family says that I ended up looking like him.
Wow.
So they named me right after him, Efrain. And then Fry was the short for it, you know. So the Fry, like F Fry,
Yeah.
it's in my name. So the family passed it on to me. And ever since then, friends, family, everybody called me Fry. They don't call me by my real name, Efrain. If anybody called me Efrain, it's because they probably don't know me too well. They're not too comfortable with me yet or something, you know?
Yeah. So what does legacy mean to you? That's quite a honor to be named after. You said your uncle?
Yes, legacy, man. Legacy is important to me, very big time, because um, I want my family, my kids, you know, their kids to be well respected, you know, and I want them also to be, you know, financially good and stable because life nowadays, it's all about money, man.
Mm.
You know, when you have connections with people, when, you know, my kids grow up and they're like, oh, you're Efrain's son, you're Fry's son. Okay, that's really good. Like, I want people to look at that as a good thing, you know, they'll be
Right.
like, they'll be joyful and, you know, probably offer opportunities and maybe connections, and then stuff comes from that, you know? Connections, collaborations, you get jobs like that, you get referrals, stuff
Hmm.
like that. People know you, they get to know you, and they know you as a good person and for what you do. What
Yeah.
is it that you're good at? What's your profession? And I want to build a legacy like that for my family because my family doesn't have something like that to look back on, you know? We don't have nothing to really feel proud about. Big accomplishment, no. So I'm trying to break that chain, you know?
Mm.
And I want to make something. And I'm 31 years old. I feel like I'm running out of time.
Mm.
Maybe and that's one of our problems. We're never running out of time. It's never too late, you
Right.
know? As long as we're still here breathing on this earth, we got enough time. So here I am, man. That's what another thing that pushed me to rebuild myself and reconstruct myself, reinvent myself. You know what? My grandparents are getting old. My pops and them, they're the ones that raised me. They don't have that much time. I need to help them out. I need to get my life back together. So, you know, that's how I am, getting my life back together. And let's see what kind of story I build. You know, let's see what kind of empire I build.
Ooh, yes. Let's do it, bro. What would you tell somebody that feels like they're behind right now? That might be a lot younger than you.
Man, I wasted years and years playing video games, being in crime, doing drugs, and here I am now, and um, I feel like I'm behind, even if I'm behind one day, man. You know, like I haven't hit the gym in like about 5 days, and I feel like I'm falling behind
Mm.
drastically. You know, I miss a day at work, and I feel like I'm falling behind drastically on money. When I miss the gym, I feel like I'm gonna get fat the next week. I feel like I'm already gonna lose my abs and my form for my arms the next week. Never feel like it's ever too late. If you feel like it's too late, it's you yourself and your mind. You know, we
Yeah.
have enough time. Just as long as you're pushing and you're pushing against something,
Hmm.
because there's people that are always going to be getting set back. You know, there's people like I used to judge and criticize people for the positions where they were at, but I never knew what they were going through. I
Oh,
never knew what they really went through. And they went through some hard stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Everybody goes through it at different times, but they end up going through it eventually. You know, we all
that's
have
so
to
true.
learn eventually, some type of some way. You know, and don't. One thing I recommend to somebody is that just don't wait too long. You know, there's always we can't just push ourselves when we're not ready. We're gonna get there when we are ready. you know. But just think about what you're gonna do, what you want to do, and maybe how you're gonna do it when you're there. You gotta have a couple of things, an idea in mind, because it does take time. I still don't even know what I want to do myself, you know, and I have a lot of things on my plate right now that I could choose from. But it's just so much work and so much time, man. So like we have enough time to go ahead and think about what we're doing, you know, but we don't have enough time to go ahead and put our foot in.
Ooh,
So what I
yeah,
recommend for somebody is young is honestly, if you feel like you're wasting time, it's probably because you are wasting it. Stop wasting it. Okay?
that's
That's the
good.
simplest thing that I could say is if you feel like you're wasting time, maybe it's because you are. Read your body, read your you know, your intuition, believe in yourself, your body never lies to you. You know, if
Hmm.
it feels like you're wasting time, that you're falling behind, it's not comfortable. You're not in the right position then.
That's a really good point. They said, oh gosh, I was meditating on this morning, Proverbs 24:10. If you're, oh gosh, it's something to do with like, if you're stressed about a situation, then it means you lack strength, which basically means God will put you through these smaller tests, and if you can't handle those, how are you going to handle the bigger ones? I butchered how the Proverbs was said, but that's the lesson there. And also, I agree with you, the discernment to have not feel like you're too far behind, but having that sense of urgency. I think a lot of people lack a sense of urgency. And maybe they do stress the little things, but like you said, your body never lies to you. And if you feel anxious, it typically means obviously you're worried about the future, but anxiety can be destroyed through can't talk preparation. If you
Preparation, yes, exactly.
if you
You
prepare
know?
enough, you're set. You're not gonna. You shouldn't feel worried about something that you know how to do.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if it's something that you really look forward to, it's something that you know that you can do.
Mm,
So when you think about it that way, it should lessen the worries for you a little bit more. But sometimes it's hard for us to think that way, man. All of us. It's hard for us to be like, you know what? I'm capable. I'm more capable of what I know I'm capable of. It's hard for us
yeah.
to say that.
Yeah. Yes. So by the way, I just looked it up. Proverbs 24:10. The exact saying is, "If you fail under pressure, your strength is too small." So
Yep.
you get it. It talks.
Yeah.
It means, hey, you're dealt adversities. If you can't handle it, you need to increase your strength.
Yes.
You need to become more resilient. You need to figure out what in my mind can I change about how I see this situation, or what skills do I need to gain, because everything's a muscle at the end of the day if you think about it that way. Like your mind can be a muscle, your body, you work hard, you're going to be able to lift more weights. It's anything with repetition, you should be able to handle a deeper load in anything in life. So yeah, Fry, we're getting to the end of this. Where can they find you on socials?
Social media, TT Roscoe, Efrain Perales. I'm on Facebook, Threads, I'm on Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm on Twitch. I haven't gotten on Twitch or anything, man. I just built a new account. But
Cool.
now here within the next 5 months, I'm definitely gonna be doing a lot more of all that now that
Mm.
I got settled in. Like I was explaining to you and Diego.
Yep.
I just got settled into my new little home, so I'm moving a new job this week too, getting a new position. Other than that, after that, I'm gonna go full on force on making content, you know, and then just bringing the group out there.
Dude,
And
strength
but yeah,
evolved
TT
too.
Roscoe, TT Roscoe, Efrain Fry Perales, Efrain Fray, and then Perales Perales. Everybody can find me, man. Yeah. It's the same
Perfect.
thing, every single one.
Okay. Yeah, and this week we got to talk. You, me, and Diego got that group chat made. You're starting Strength Evolve. So you talked about feeling like the last few days obviously been lacking in the gym and such. Don't worry, bro. We're about to lock in. I'm so excited to see your progress, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. And we're super grateful that you got to come on. So, guys, if you have not already, make sure you like the episode. Make sure you subscribe, follow it on Spotify or Apple Pod, wherever you're tuned in at. And comment your biggest takeaway of Fry's episode. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.